Hi, good evening. Let me see if it's live now and if there's anyone online now. Again, if there's anyone there watching, tuning in right now, it's again Wednesday Facebook Live. All right. Okay, so do let me know if you can hear me. That's the most important. I'm not sure about the visual. Okay, but I think last week when Gong Yu did his live itself, right? Okay, it was very smooth. All the visual was good. Okay, so I'm not sure. It's like Wednesday night. How was it? If there's anyone tuning in right now, hi, how are you? Do drop a note to see whether you can hear me very well, and hopefully you can also see me moving clearly instead of like lagging visual and all these things. Okay. All right. Tonight's session itself will be chasing the shadows, okay, eclipse seasons and also astrology. Okay, what does these two things has in common, and then what we can actually learn about it. And of course we are entering into an eclipse season this particular month itself. Hi Chang Feng. Okay, sound loud and clear, thank you. All right, just make sure I have my mic on. Okay, all right, so to the rest of you who have just joined me, as usual, it will be good if you can actually help me to share tonight's session out, okay, on your Facebook page so that you can actually reach out more, okay, to more people. Hi Tayo Wei, okay, nice to see all of you here. Richard Jain, okay, Katie Go, okay, hi, okay, thank you for tuning in. And Lai Ping, all right, good evening, Jessie and everyone. Hi Shok Yi, okay, all right, it's always nice, okay, to actually see all of you every Wednesday. Like, recently I've been contemplating, I like to self-question myself a lot, right? Okay, and of course sometimes besides only self-questioning myself, I also like to question those around me. So it's never too nice to be just directly very close to me, okay? Because recently a lot of people are asking, oh, I want to be part of your team and all that. Seriously, okay, ask those who are in my team, okay, especially those immediate family members, right? Okay, it's never easy, okay, because it's like I keep on questioning you. It's always a test to the ego. All right, so hi and Ang Nur Firos, okay, all right, thank you for tuning in. Hi Romex, okay, yeah, Romex, I'll see you tomorrow night at the briefing, right? Okay, I wouldn't say I'm so happy, okay, no one actually dropped off, but Romex, yeah, you're part of the Egypt gay journey tour. So happened that one student, okay, she got too kanjiang, okay, she double booked herself, okay, she actually booked for the first 20 and after that put herself in a waiting list, and she got in a way selected again. As I mentioned, I never look into the list of the first 20, right? Okay, and she got selected again. That's why we have a double slot for one person. That's why how Romex gets to get into the journey as well. All right, I already say hi to Shok Yi lah. Okay, yeah, somehow, okay, Nicole has been not allowing me to read the rest of the messages because she wants to stop at certain message. Like now she's pointing me to serious right. Okay, hi Mr. Lim. Okay, yeah, she's favoritism. Okay. Hi Sally, okay, Richard Jain, okay, thank you so much, okay, for having the faith in me and giving me a chance to share with you. As I mentioned earlier on, I was really questioning myself a lot lately, okay, as in I really come to think about it, it's been more than a year, okay, since I do this regularly, okay, consistently every Wednesday night on Facebook Live, and like up to now, I'm trying to feel, okay, my emotions, okay, every time when it comes to Wednesday, I want to honestly feel myself. It's like, do I feel like, dreadful, or do I feel like, oh, it's like a responsibility? Do I feel that is something that, in a way takes up too much of my time, example like that, okay? But to be very honest, and I'm very happy, as in like, I didn't feel any negativity at all, but instead I feel still very excited, okay, every time that I have to, in a way, in the wee of the night, okay, I have to think about like, what are the topics, what are the things I want to share, okay, prepare the slides, okay, all the preparations and also the slides, okay, behind and all these things, right? I still feel very excited. I still feel that I'm in love with doing this, okay? I know, okay, the border is opening. That's why I need to keep asking myself this question, as in like, oh, once the border is open, I'm not sure whether, okay, how I can actually, in a way, keep up to every Wednesday night. But looking at all the answers that I get and also the clarity that I've gotten, I think wherever I will be, okay, right after the border will be open, Wednesday night Facebook Live, or at least once a week Facebook Live, I think is a must, okay? Because up to now, I really still very blessed, right, to be able to share with you, okay, all the findings and also the informations and the knowledge, so-called, okay, my 2 cents worth, okay, to share with all of you here. And I really, really enjoy seeing all of you. Teresa, Saman Zaidi, Katie Go, I know, yeah, you're part of the journey as well, okay, so I'll see you tomorrow night. John Vega, hello, nice to see you here. YP Chai, I constantly remind myself that take it easy, don't rush towards all the information, pay attention to people who are like, like commenting on the post, giving greetings and all that, try to read over it. I try to remind myself lah, but most of the time after I get into the contents, right, okay, I'll be so into it that I've forgotten to actually look into your comments, okay? So keep the comments coming. Tonight's session is about eclipse season, okay, chasing the shadows, and how is it relating to astrology, all right? So on the generic point of view, okay, so I'm sure all of you have heard about the eclipse, okay? Probably a lot of you also in a way heard about like, all the taboos, okay, the do's and don'ts about the eclipse as well, okay? Do share with me, all right? If you're tuning in right now, do share with me, what have you heard about the eclipse? The do's and the don'ts, the good and the bad, okay? As in like, all the taboos and all these things, right? Okay, do share with me. What are the things that you have heard about, okay? Probably later, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've heard about as well, and what is my opinion and my point of view towards it. All right, okay, Stephanie was saying that, wow, Sifu has new professor look today. Yeah, I mean, I have to, because to be honest, also for the past 1 year, I've been constantly doing live, okay, constantly on the gadgets, okay, laptop, iPads, phone, okay, up to the middle of the night. And then every time I do like sharings, Facebook Live, and also like Zoom sessions and all that, this lightings itself is really killing my eyes. So I thought it would be good for me to actually have like something to protect the eyes. I'm not sure whether these things work or not, but mindset-wise, psychological-wise, I felt that when you spend money already, maybe it will work out. Mind over matters, okay? So that's why I need to actually get this set of like glasses, okay, in order for me to protect my eyes so that I can actually share more with all of you. Tan Wei Hao, okay, you're here. Slow, yes. Slowly. All right, Michelle Liu, okay, thank you for tuning in. All right, Elena Chiu, okay, hi Elena. All right, so I see a lot of students here as well, okay. When I say Elena, right, okay, I constantly need to remind her, have you been practicing your bazi? Have you been practicing your skills that you have actually in a way harnessed throughout the year, okay? Don't forget, put in a lot of effort and practice into it, because eventually all the skills, okay, the things that you have invested in and the time and effort that you have put in, okay, to discover more about the tools itself, it will serve you a lifetime. In fact, trust me, it will serve you more than a lifetime. All right. Okay. Hi, Priya. Okay. Hi, Priya Subhava. Thank you for connecting here. John Vega. I heard from one Sifu that eclipses is bad and do not expose yourself outdoor during eclipse. It's bad luck. Yeah. In fact, John Vega, it's like a lot of people says that, okay, not only like, I mean, it's very common, okay, from my background in the temple, okay, up to, of course, astrology, when Chinese metaphysics are concerned, okay, still a lot of people think that eclipses are bad, okay, and I can understand why. So that's why it's like the purpose of tonight's session itself is about chasing the shadows, okay. It's like why we need to chase the shadows to understand it. What is the eclipse? Now, chasing the shadows means it's the eclipse time, okay? To make it more fanciful, okay? I put it as in chasing the shadows itself, okay? How is it going to impact us, okay? All the things that we have heard, whether it is like the do's and the don'ts, okay? All the taboos and all these things. How do I think, okay, now I'm only in a way expressing my personal opinion, all right? So of course, everyone have their personal opinion. Doesn't mean that the other gurus or the other sifus are wrong. There's no such thing as right or wrong. It's just that different people have different opinions, okay? But to me itself, okay, eclipse season, all right, in terms of like, for me and for my personal path, I pay a lot of attention into eclipse, okay? Eclipses are, I will say, the most powerful timing or seasons. Even when it comes to date selection, okay, for those of you who attended my classes and all that, I pay a lot of attention into the days where we call heavenly pardon days, okay? And heavenly pardon days, it only comes by like, 4 times a year to a maximum up to probably 6 or 7 times a year, okay? And if you really look into it, right, okay, this heavenly pardon days itself, okay, have high inclinations to the, the patterns of the eclipse, okay? Because the eclipse itself also, in a way that it comes comes, okay, it is seasonal. Heavenly Patterns comes every season. There's 1 or 2 days in every season itself. Whereas the eclipse comes in every eclipse seasons, okay. And when it happens itself, every year itself, you can come up to at least like 4, okay, eclipses, up to a maximum of like 6 or 7 per year as well, okay. Either it is a total eclipse or partial eclipse, right? So you see the similarity. In fact, in a year's time frame, right, you can only have this durations of dates, probably up to maximum a week, okay, where you can make use of, okay, the energy of the environment, of the dates itself, and also the alignment of the stars, or in this case the sun, the moon, and also the earth itself, right? It actually helps to open up a lot of opportunities, a lot of clarity, a lot of deeper knowledge or wisdom, okay, for us to actually explore more into. All right, so therefore I really, sorry, I'm not very comfortable with these glasses. It feels like it's dropping off. Okay, so therefore it is like, in a way, gives a lot of opportunity for us if we understand how the eclipse work and how we can gel it together with astrology. Okay, this gives us a lot of in a way, opportunity to go deep, okay, into understanding ourselves and to maximize our potential. All right, so therefore I would say that the eclipse seasons are something happening to the astronomy. It's something of the stars, okay, the sun, moon, all the planets, all the galaxies, and all these things, right? Whereas astrology is a tool on earth where we develop a tool, okay, of certain calculations of probabilities, either date selections, 八字, feng shui, okay, whatever systems that we have developed, that is based on what that's happening above us. Remember, I've always says about as above, so below. Okay, whatever that's happening in the the universe, okay, our solar system, right? How these stars are aligning themselves, it impacts us on Earth. Okay, so astrology itself is actually a tool, right, of a formula, okay, or a certain patterns, okay, that we develop based on the observations of the stars, okay, above us. Okay, so these two things actually in a way works hand in hand. Okay, it works together. All right, so Teresa got congratulations to all of those who are on the Egypt trip. Okay, oh well, you can say it's a congratulations. You can also say that, I mean, it really depends on how you look at it. Okay, as I mentioned before, Egypt trip is not a just be happy, go marry, fun trip. Okay, it is something that once it is initiated, okay, it is a starting of a year long of trial and lessons and tests. Okay, a lot of all these things will come to you. Therefore, tomorrow night we need to start off with our initial, in a way, initiating the whole program. It means the briefing itself for everyone who is joining, okay, what to expect, okay, when you in a way make a decision to go on or go forward into a spiritual journey like this. What are you expecting? Okay, so yeah, all these things. It means that this one whole year itself, it could be a lot of trial and errors and lessons and a lot of tests that we have to go through. Hi Kevin Sim, Mabel Lau, okay, thank you for joining me. All right, so now come to this particular, chasing the shadows, eclipse season. So let me bring out the slides here, okay, to share with you. First of all, what is eclipse? I'm sure that, okay, those of you who follow all my previous Facebook Live or in my classes before, right, okay, in fact, you will know that eclipse, okay, it is something that happens between the sun, the moon, and the earth. Of course, everything that happens in the entire universe, in our galaxy, all the constellations, okay, all the constellations of the stars, okay, the Orion belt, we have the big deeper stars, okay, we have a lot of different stars itself, okay, that in a way impact us, okay, energetically, that will affect us, okay, in terms of our astrology, sort of progress. And of course, out of so many different stars and also planets, okay, we have this tool which is very significant to Earth. Okay, very significant to Earth. Why is it so? Is because in our solar system, the sun is the most powerful. Okay, it is the central of the solar system. So when we are in the solar systems, whatever lessons, tribulations, lessons, okay, that we have to go through, it involves a lot relating to the sun. The sun, in a way, okay, directly impacts us into our purpose. Okay, our soul, our direction, our projection. Okay, our final destination. Okay, the sun actually in a way affects that. Okay, and of course the moon itself being the nearest planet or the nearest you can call it planet, right? Okay, is the moon even a planet? Can you call a what?
Satellite.
A moon is a satellite. Oh, sorry. I don't know what to call it. I call it the moon all the time. So you call it a satellite, okay? So you see that the moon itself, okay, is the nearest to Earth itself, okay? The nearest to Earth that it orbits around us. So the impact of the moon, even though it is small, okay, but because of its, being so near to Earth itself, right, it's going to impact a lot, okay, energetically, okay, right, towards the surface or the energy on Earth, okay? So therefore, looking at these two elements itself, the sun and the moon, and Earth, okay, now being in between or evolving, okay, between these two particular elements itself, right? So whatever alignment that they take place is going to impact Earth energetically. And we beings the beings, okay, we being the energy beings on Earth itself, whenever this alignment happens, right, it's going to impact us, right? So when you look at solar eclipse, okay, is where the sun is in between the moon and, the Earth is in between the moon and the sun. And when you look at solar eclipse itself, right, okay, it's where, okay, the moon is in between the sun and the Earth. So it's just different positioning, but in a same alignment. Now, last week I have talked about Fu Yin, okay? Fu Yin is all about planetary alignment, okay? That is like the Grand Centurion Portal is all about, okay? When everything is aligned exactly in the same, location and direction. Same line, okay? When it's aligned like that, right, okay, it means that it opens up portals. The area in between it becomes like void, empty, so that everything can, in a way, access, okay, can, in a way, travels through. So when during lunar and solar eclipse itself, right, okay, you can see that, okay, the moon goes around Earth. Okay, it's like, every month it makes one round, every month almost approximately, every month it makes one round, okay? And the Earth goes around the sun. Every year itself, it makes one round. But when it going around, it doesn't goes into like just one particular direction. It actually moves, okay? Slightly degree higher towards the, the northern or the southern pole, okay? So when it's moving like that, right, you will see that even though, right, the moon in a way can be in between Earth and the sun, almost every month, but doesn't mean that the alignment is so perfect, okay, that it create a total, void or a total darkness on a certain location on Earth itself, where it totally blocks out the sun, okay? And when that happens itself, an eclipse occurs. So eclipse itself, example for the solar eclipse, right, okay, it occurs in a pattern of like every total solar eclipse, let's put it that way. Total solar eclipse means that it covers the whole entire part of that surface on Earth itself, okay, in totality. It happens approximately every 18 years, okay, 11 days and 8 hours. For those of you who are joining me in all my breakthrough workshops and all that, okay, I will bring the eclipse into a deeper understanding, okay, during those workshops. But here, at least you know that, okay, now it's like every time that it aligns, exactly covering, okay, the whole entire sun, okay, towards the surface, or the sun rays towards the surface of Earth, a total solar eclipse happened. And when this happened itself, right, okay, it means that it created that void, that portal, okay, that openings where suddenly, right, okay, there's no distraction. Suddenly the things here becomes like neutral, okay, like no lights can penetrate, okay, or you will say that the sun can't penetrate through, or the moon, okay, light disappears, okay, on either a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse, okay. So when this happens itself, right, okay, it opens up to us an opportunity. When the portal opens, okay, it opens up to us an opportunity for us to go deeper into things, okay. And when we can go deeper into things, that's when astrology comes into it, okay. Now, throughout my connection with astrology, right, I've been blessed, like even ever since like my childhood time, I've been blessed, okay, to be in the temple. I've been dealing with a lot of people, okay, using astrology, using a lot of like Taoist methods, okay, in all that. You go back into even past life regressions and all these things to understand, okay, different tools, okay, into looking into astrology. But I realized one thing, that okay, in this modern era of technologies, or not astrology, right, okay, you see that, okay, a lot of people are actually taking astrology and looking into the width of it, okay, because everything comes into yin and yang. So we are living in an era where, okay, people are more concerned, okay, who are more interested to look at the surface of things, the width of things. It's like how wide you can go instead of how deep you can actually go. So when I put this into the context of understanding it from yin and yang, because everything, okay, that I try to understand, every matters, right, okay, my way of understanding things is always cosmic trinity, tower symbol, okay, or the yin and yang symbol. So I realized that based on this yin and yang symbol, right, okay, a lot of people are more geared towards the yang side. In our modern society, modern era, people want things on the surface level, quick, fast, immediate solutions to things, okay? They don't bother to understand why, but give me the answer, give me the strategy, give me the solutions, okay, to things. So therefore, I find that, okay, throughout, okay, the ancient time towards our modern era, okay, in this new age time, let's put it that way, all right? What difference that I realize in terms of astrology is people, instead of going deeper by using astrology, they are actually using astrology into going wider. Wider in the sense of they're using astrology to conquer more, okay, to be like richer, to be more powerful, to divinate for instant answers, solutions, strategies to things, okay? So whenever we sell astrology, it is more sellable in that sense. It will be more sellable if I can tell you that using astrology, 八字, feng shui, or any tools under Chinese metaphysics or Western astrology to actually gain you more wealth, more success, more fame, okay, more or whatever lah, okay. That is actually, if you look into that aspect, right, okay, it is actually using astrology to gain width, right, to be more powerful, to conquer more areas, okay, to be more richer and all these things, right? And that is actually using it on the width area. Where else, okay, my understanding of astrology, okay, from the olden days, if you really look into the histories and all that, right, all astrologers, okay, in a way, in the olden days where they are famous for, okay, they are famous philosophers, okay. A lot of people who are like highly like look up upon in terms of metaphysics, at least in Chinese metaphysics, okay. These are in a way great philosophers, okay. You look at Confucian, you look at, you know, all these like people who are in a way like, you know, they are in a way highly sought after or highly remembered, okay, when it comes to the histories of astrology. These are philosophers, okay. Where else, because in the olden days when astrology are developed, okay, it is developed in a sense, okay, for us to look deeper into things. Instead of looking into the surface level of things, it is supposed to be a tool, okay, for us to understand deeper into things. Just like I Ching, just like 八字, okay, all these tools has been developed so that we can actually understand more about ourselves, understand more about how the interactions of the 5 elements in the entire universe works hand in hand together, okay? Understand more about like when an eclipse happens, what is it supposed to mean? What is it supposed to be able to help us, okay, to gain more wisdom, okay, and understanding. And of course, philosophy itself, okay, in a way comes from the words, okay, that can represent love and wisdom at the same time. Right, but I find that over the years, right, okay, no one actually really comes, okay, to a consultation to understand more, or they want to study this particular tool itself, right, in order for them to actually be more deeper in terms of their wisdom, or to understand deeper into the skill or the tools itself. A lot of people wants to actually go into the hardcore get rich quick formulas, okay. Therefore, I realize that if we sell all these formulas itself, right, okay, it is sellable. It is high in demand. The market is there. So when I actually talk about the deeper meanings of astrology, you'll be surprised that people actually say that I'm talking like their grandmother. Okay, and this is real life scenario, you know. It's not that I'm offended over it, but I find that it's like a very interesting findings for me, okay? When I try to understand things from a deeper, okay, value or a deeper point of view, people find that this is boring. I'm talking like a grandmother. I'm being like, or naggy or whatever, okay? But the exact word they use is like, you are starting to actually sound like my grandmother, okay? Which it actually opens up a lot of realization in me, okay? Oh, of course, my often self-questioning self will then ask myself, is like, do I want to continue to go deeper into things, or I want to actually join probably the rest of the market itself to go wider into things, okay? Like I give you certain promise, secret recipe, okay, to get rich quick, okay? But of course, to me is I prefer the deeper side. All right, so therefore you see when it comes to astrology, okay, there's always yin and yang to it, and of course both coexist together. Is it important for us to go wider as well? Yes, of course, because yin and yang coexist together. I'm not saying that we just go deep and forget about the width, okay? So in a way, right, okay, we need to also in a way focus on the width At the same time, do not neglect the depth of thing, okay? And that, to me, is the purpose of astrology. In fact, if you really Google and research, right, okay, there are books about it that talks about, in ancient time, we are talking about thousands of years ago, okay, there are famous astronomers. There are royal astronomers. In the olden days where you are in royalty, it means the emperor, okay, you are in this, right, the kingdom itself, right, okay, when you're serving the king or the emperor, if you are the royal astronomers, right, okay, you have a certain responsibility to actually uphold to, okay, and in histories itself, in ancient China, there are 2 astronomers, okay, who get executed because they failed. You can Google about it, it's everywhere, okay, in the West, even Harvard and Oxford University and all that, they are actually, in a way, researching and studying about all these cases, okay, in the news, all right? So, astronomers in ancient China, okay, they're actually, in a way, executed because they cannot or they failed to successfully predict what? Eclipse. Okay, it means that you're thinking about like 5,000 years ago, when all this astrology, okay, it has been created or developed, right? Okay, ever since the ancient history of 5,000 years ago in China, okay, they are actively trying to predict the eclipses, okay? And if you are the royal astronomers, you fail to predict it, you get executed. Okay, they behead you. All right. So therefore, it's like it shows how important, okay, is the eclipse. Then why is it so important? Because in the olden days, right, once you are able to, in a way, calculate out the eclipse, okay, during this timing itself is where all the astrologers now comes in, okay, to see the future luck of the emperor. Okay, because when everything opens, the portals open, they will be able to actually, in a way, go very far ahead to see or to do certain rituals or certain strategies to ensure the luck of the empress itself, okay, or to predict the luck of the reigning empress at that time, okay. And this has been, in a way, like, how to say, means documented, okay, in histories of ancient astrologers, okay, or ancient astrology in China, okay. So all of you can research about it. So this tells, okay, how important, okay, is eclipse to them. And we are lucky, okay, we are lucky in an era that, okay, I'm an astrologer, I do look at eclipses and all that, but I know that if I fail to predict one, I don't have to be beheaded, okay. But the thing is, nowadays, due to advanced technology, due to, of course, all these, like, advanced tools that we have, in a way, predicting an eclipse is not difficult at all, okay. In fact, if you want to predict, right, okay, easily this can be worked out, okay. In fact, right, okay, all this, okay, up to even year 2030, if I want to work even up to, like, 100 years from now, even thousands of years from now, okay, we can work it out because it's a pattern, okay, and pattern doesn't change, okay. You can keep on calculating, right? So every how to say, the evolving, okay, of all these planets, okay, or satellites, okay, or the sun and the moon itself, right, it can be calculated. So therefore, okay, all the eclipses itself, right, okay, comes with a season, and all the seasons itself, if you put it into context, right, you can see the pattern. Now, to those of you who are practitioners, right, one of the ways, okay, I need to share with you is, if you want to go deep into astrology, you have to do all this work to lay out the patterns, okay. How I find the Grand Centurion portal, okay, you won't find it if you don't lay it out right in front of you. So what we'll do is, we have to have a lot of papers and a lot of all this information of the statistic, okay, we have to lay it out, and once you laid it out, you see the pattern. I'm sure that you can clearly see the patterns of the eclipse here, right, okay. There are always certain patterns when it comes to the elements that we are dealing with, okay, when it comes to astrology. All right, and this is actually what we call the eclipse season that's happening. And this year we are in 2021. So you know that the eclipse seasons happen somewhere in May and June this year, okay, and it will happen again towards November and December, okay, right, and next year and so on so forth, and this patterns just adjust itself, okay, because it's all about, like, probabilities of the sun and the moon evolving around each other, of the three planets or the 3 satellites or whatever you call it, okay. So if you are able to see the patterns, okay, then we are able to actually make the best out of the pattern itself, okay. So if you see here, first of all, eclipse, as I mentioned, it opens up the portal, okay. It opens up that possibilities for us to actually, in a way, go back and go forth. And those of you who attended my Grand Centurion Portal, right, okay, you know that this year is very special, okay? Last year and this year, coming up to next year itself, okay, these 3 years itself are very, very crucial and very special for people who wants to go deep into things, okay? Therefore, that's why we are constantly, in a way, like, trying to actually get people to understand, okay, metaphysics from a deeper level. All right, so if you understand this, now a lot of people talks about, oh, when eclipse happened, like just now John Vega said, okay, it is bad, it is not good. Now, why is it bad and not good? Now, it will be bad and not good. Hi, Serene, Principal Jessie. Yeah, my eyes are not getting very good. I'm getting older, okay, so I better protect it, okay, right? The thing is, okay, so when you go into eclipse, why a lot of practitioners who say that eclipse are bad, okay, you have to hide away, you have to stay indoor, don't even go out. Now, to be very honest, when this 2 years started, okay, I will keep on chasing the shadows, okay? I have to wait until, because these 2 years are special years. That's why if you really pay attention, last year, okay, is where I started all my meditation classes focusing on eclipses. Then it follows by this year, May and June, where I started. This year, I started officially, okay, all the full moon and new moon, especially eclipses. I will try my best not to miss one, okay? And it started from there, and the upcoming November and early December 4th, okay, will be an eclipse season. It means that the upcoming 19 November will be a lunar eclipse, and December 4th will be a solar eclipse. Now, back to the question. Why are they then, certain sifu or certain practitioners says that eclipses are bad? In fact, not only Chinese metaphysics, if you look into many different cultures, right, okay, they always deem solar eclipses especially are bad. Okay, they will always ask you to stay indoor. Pregnant women, children are not supposed to be exposed to it. Okay, even like food and all that that's exposed to the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse, don't eat it, it will be poisonous, stuff like that. All right, so the thing is, okay, during the eclipse itself, right, okay, especially solar eclipse, you know that there are certain parts on Earth itself becomes void of yang energy. And you know that we all survive based on yang energy, okay? Because you know that the moon, eventually Earth itself will lose its moon. We will lose the moon. If you really look at the moon who is orbiting around Earth, right, it is actually not orbiting at the same alignment all the time. That's why you see the gradual pattern happening. Okay, so if you really research on it, right, the moon will keep on orbiting around the Earth, okay, in like roughly cycle about like 29 days and all that. Okay, that's what every new moon and full moon. But over the time itself, right, okay, every year it is like a slight centimeter, a few centimeter drifted away from Earth. Okay, now imagine this drift itself, okay, will happen over and over again, over hundreds of years, millions of years, or thousands of years. Okay, and eventually when the moon itself, okay, when it keep going round, okay, the Earth itself, up to 600 million years, okay, you will see that there will no longer be any more lunar eclipse, because the moon will be too far from Earth in order for it to be totally, in a way, like covering a certain surface on Earth itself. Okay, so you see that this eclipse phases, right, okay, it will eventually, like, in a way, drift away. Right, so at least 600 million years. Now, of course, we talk about, but 600 million years, that's so far, okay, away. Yes, it is. But imagine that Earth here has been existed, okay, or existed since 4-point-something billion years ago. So 600 million years, right, okay, if you really come to in the context of it, right, okay, there will be eventually, Earth will be without a moon. Okay, right, that's why you also see that the people talk about, okay, I'm not sure whether you have heard Chinese, like, folklore stories, right? They say that, oh, Earth used to have 9 moons, okay, then eventually now it's like the some like, what's the name again? He used the how to say, the arrow to shoot down 8 of them, and now, oh, that's the sun, okay, and now we have 1. But it is possible, even the moon that we have itself, okay, over 600 million of years, based on science itself, the chances is it will be drifted too far, okay, away from Earth, and it will actually not be able to create eclipses anymore. Right, because you can see the patterns are drifting away and away, okay, over time, and you can see that universe is expanding, okay, therefore things are getting further and further away. So the thing is, when these things happens, then the eclipse happen, why all these gurus says that stay away from it, it is bad? Because especially solar eclipse, that moment, for one moment, right, okay, the surface of Earth itself becomes void of yang energy. And you know the yang energy, the sun, is the center of our solar system. Everything's like on earth itself, okay? Life starts to happen is because we have the sun, okay? We have this sun energy. So imagine that for that moment itself, right, where everything becomes void and empty and into darkness, okay? And when the portal opens and we can go deep into things, how many people are ready for it, okay? Right, that's why it's like, whenever an eclipse happens, the chances is at times, right, okay, they will be following with like some, like, natural disasters, okay? People emotionally and things like that, right, okay, can also be heightened, okay, due to the eclipse. Because either the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse, because it's affecting energy on earth, and this energy itself will affect our emotions, right? So every time when this solar eclipse happens, okay, people who are like, in a way, if you're too exposed to it, quote unquote, later I'll explain why, okay, they are afraid, okay, that we are not ready, okay, for this sort of energy. But to me is, how can you hide away from a solar energy, okay? How can you hide away from this energy, especially in the olden days where you are living in shacks, okay? Not even like concrete buildings like we are now. Even like concrete buildings like this, right, okay, if you have nuclear bombs or even like, X-ray energy or all this gamma energy, right, all these walls itself, okay, it can penetrate through, okay? So the thing is, when we are hiding ourselves, I always find that this is being like an ostrich, okay, trying to hide themselves from troubles, okay? It's not going to help us. But the thing is, for us to understand more about the eclipse, why they say it is bad? Because for people who are lacking of information, who are lacking of knowledge, okay, who has a lot of things that they have yet to understand, it will create fear. Okay, because when this expedite and opening of the portals, okay, when the eclipse happen, people become fearful, okay? They are not ready for it. They are not ready for this expedite growth or acceleration, okay, in their life. So when the eclipse happens itself, okay, and they are not ready for it, they are afraid. They are scared, okay? They are fearful, okay? So it makes them more emotionally affected by that. So to me, right, okay, instead of asking people to hide, okay, during an eclipse, it's better to share more understanding about the eclipse, okay? So when the eclipse happens, it's going to open the portal. Open the portal to what? Our subconscious, all our, like, our lessons, our trials, our weaknesses, the things that we have to face, the things that we have chose to live in denial, okay, throughout all this lifetime and even the previous lifetimes, okay? We have chose to run away from these lessons. When the eclipse happens, it pushes us to face it. It pushes us to see the darkness within us, because everyone has a yin and yang, okay? We often want to actually focus on the greatness of things, the certainty of things, okay? The achievements of things. But a lot of times when we are forced to see the darkness of things, we are forced to see death, we are forced to learn about letting go, we are forced to actually, in a way, face the ego, how many of us are truly ready for it? Okay, so when we're not ready for it, therefore every time the eclipse happens, it pushes towards this, like, facing this particular side, okay, of ourselves, we become afraid. People becomes, in a way, crazy. People becomes uncontrollable, okay? Like families can be havoc. People starts fighting because now they feel like the truth needs to come out, okay? Probably all this while, they think that they are happily in this particular relationship or in a family or in a job. But once the eclipse happens, subconsciously, it pushes whatever they need to face to come out, okay? So they will feel that probably there's something irritated within them in that relationship, either a family or a marriage or a relationship in terms of a career, okay? And when this is pushed out, a person who are not aware of it, they will, in a way, lose themselves. They will be cranky, they will throw tantrum, they will react, okay? Like, unawareingly manipulated by their own subconscious or their ego or their fear, whatever you call it. Therefore, during an eclipse, to me, I always find that instead of being fearful of hiding ourselves, okay, it will be better for us to actually go and understand things more. Of course, in the olden days, why an astronomers get executed by the emperor if they fail, okay, to predict the eclipse? Why they want to predict the eclipse and then after that, in a way, do rituals and all that by the shamans and all that, and then try to prolong or in a way look into the faith, okay, fate of this emperor? Because they are, in a way, sorry to say that, using it as a selfish reason. It's only for them to grow, or for the emperor who rule the country or rule the kingdom to grow and excel and be better. But to the rest of the people, okay, of course, they wouldn't want them to go so in-depth into understanding their own power. Because the more they go more in-depth into understanding their own power, the chances of a rebellious thing is going to happen, okay? Because now if they understand their own power, the chances is they won't listen to you anymore as an emperor. So therefore, they will say that during the eclipse, it comes up with a lot of stories, okay? Oh, this is taboo, it is bad, okay? Keep yourself, okay? Hide yourself, don't come out. Let me do the job to help the kingdom. Imagine, as if like I'm one of the emperor those days. Wow, it just comes to me. Now imagine, but all these things, okay, is done out of, sorry to say again, selfishness. All right, because if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense, okay? How can you just hide inside your home and yet the eclipse won't affect you? All right, so it's like all the plants that you put in your home nowadays, right? There are certain plants can even survive, right? It means that they get the sunlight, okay? So we can't hide from it. But once we understand from it, the eclipse is so powerful that even 5,000 years ago, that the emperor sees the importance of it. They want to learn out of it, okay? They want, yes, celestial dragon attract and devour the sun. Yes, okay, that's one of it as well. All right, so they have all of these things, but come on, we are living in a modern era. Don't, in a way, believe things that doesn't actually make sense anymore. I mean, for me, it's like, whatever I choose to believe in, okay, I need to be able to understand it into its main core, the depth of the core itself. If you just tell me one thing, but it's like, if I start to question it, if it doesn't make sense, I cannot accept to believe in it, okay? Now, make sense doesn't mean that it has to have an answer all the time. There's a lot of things that do not have an answer, but it needs to, in a way, okay, make sense of certain things to actually like make me to do or not to do, okay? So if you understand that, you know that eclipse itself, okay, why all this negativity, okay, about eclipse, hiding from it and all that, it's not going to save you to a better luck. In fact, to me, right, ever since this year starting on, every eclipse you have to start chasing the shadow, especially if you are in the path of spirituality. If you have the path of like going deeper into your soul to understand your purpose in these lifetimes and also the purpose of your soul in the future and the previous lifetime, okay? So this will be the best timing starting from this year onwards, okay? Where you have the eclipse happening in May and June and also in November, upcoming one. Now, why is that so? Why this year onwards, okay? Of course, the Grand Centurion Portal, I've shared with you, okay, the speciality of that date, okay? That never comes by until 180 years later. Okay, and then also we look at the eclipse season, okay, and what is happening this month itself. Now this month the eclipse happens on the 19th of November, 18th to 19th of November. The lunar eclipse is also one of the longest lunar eclipse in the century. It means that in this 100 years, from year 2000 to 2100, in this 100 years itself, okay, the November 19th, okay, lunar eclipse is the longest eclipse in this particular century, okay? It's the longest of, again, there's a reason to it, okay? Because this year is a special year, okay? And you know that the eclipse is happening between 7th November to 6th December itself, right? It falls under the pig month. Now, some of you have listened to me talking about this before, okay? Every month itself, okay, there's an animal sign to it. And the pig month happens on the 7th of November up to the 6th of December, okay? And when we enter here, you know that this pig month pulls in the tiger. Remember those of you, okay, who attended the Grand Centurion workshop, right? Because November itself, the tiger year comes early, okay? So in November itself, right, okay, the energy of the tiger year has arrived. Why? Because the pig combines and pulls in the tiger. So the eclipse that happens this month in November, which so happen at the pig, okay, location, okay, right, or direction, okay, because that is the direction of the pig, okay, that happens this year, it also in a way triggers, okay, the tiger, because it's a pairing, okay, the pairings itself, when one portal opens, the pairing portals, yin and yang, it also opens at the same time. This being visible, the month, okay, that is this year, okay, this month. But the tiger being the invisible pillar, it also opens up, okay? So the whatever eclipse that's happening on the 19th of November, the pig month, on the 4th of December, that is a total solar eclipse, okay? And the total solar eclipse, right, okay, won't happen 18 months later. Every 18 months, okay, it will happen. Roughly about 18 months, it happens again. So the solar eclipse will only come back in 2024. All right, so this year, okay, on the December 4th itself, which is still the pig month, okay, it happens this season itself. It's a very special eclipse. It's a total solar eclipse, okay. Once it opens up, okay, it opens up the yin and yang portals. Not only opens up the pig portals, it opens up the tiger portals, okay. But at the same time, later on, okay, I will see you. See, now, it is opening up the pig portal. Now, this is getting a bit deeper. I'm very ambitious one. Those of you who understand, you will understand. If not, then yeah, okay, just forget about it. I'm trying to actually share the information from my practitioners, okay? If you look at the pig month, okay, that this year's where the eclipse, the location of the eclipse is happening, okay? Now, the direction of the eclipse that is hitting, okay, is actually at the snake or the south, okay? It's actually at the south direction. Opposite, okay, because it's happening on the pig, right? The direction impacted will be on the south. So if you do a research, okay, of this coming December, okay, the what we call the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse, it is hitting the Antarctica. The Antarctica is actually at the South Pole, okay, where it is the hidden of the hidden. You see, eclipses happen actually like everywhere. It crosses everywhere, like different parts of the world, okay, like some of it, like 2017, the great eclipse of America, it crosses like parts of America. Sometimes it crosses Mexico, China, Canada, okay, really depending on that particular eclipse, okay. But they are very rare that the eclipse, okay, will actually happen at the North Pole or the South Pole, especially the South Pole itself, because I will deem this as like the how to say the eclipse of the eclipse, because when you're at the South Pole, you see, rarely anyone will be able to see it or witness it. It becomes hidden, okay? Especially now that we are in a more advanced, okay, era, that people can actually travel to the South Pole. And if you can see that South Pole, right, there are no permanent human, how to say, habitats, okay? Nowadays, you have a lot of researchers, okay? From time to time, they are based there probably a couple of months, and they have to be moved out. The South Pole, okay, is not a place where it is a long-term habitat, okay, to any humans. All right, of course you have penguins there, okay, but not humans, right? Where else, the Arctic itself, you still have the Eskimos, you still have humans, but not the South Pole. The South Pole itself, okay, in a way that it is an area where it is, of course, how to say, non-accessible naturally, okay, to human. But of course, in advanced technology, we are able to go there. Right? So therefore, when an eclipse that happens in the South Pole, right, okay, and you do research about it, it also affects on the, how to say, the direction of the eclipse. Most of the eclipse itself, okay, it happens from the west towards the east, because that's how actually relating to the moon that's orbiting around sun, okay, I mean the earth, okay. But in this particular eclipse that's happening in December 4th, okay, the rotation is from the east to west, okay. In summary itself, okay, it is very rare and very special, and it happens in this pig month. Now you see, the pig itself, okay, happens in the pig's portal. Now let me show you, okay, this diagram. So the pig here, okay, when it happens here, whatever that the eclipse is located will be opposite it. That's why it's happening in the south, okay. So here that you can see that it is happening here at the snake area. Totally opposite, it will be the snake area. And the snake area is actually very near to the south area, because the earth itself is not direct one, it's slightly tilted, okay? So the snake area, later you understand, okay, that the snake area is also one portal on its own, okay? So when this pig, okay, when the eclipse happens solely in this particular portal, it not only pulls in the tiger that affect this portal, it also in a way directly hit onto the snake, which is another portal. So now come to this particular part itself, right, okay, those of you, if you follow me since August itself, you know that, okay, there are 4 portals, okay, or gates, okay, when it comes to the 12 animal sign. And these are the axes, okay. We have the heavens portal and also the earth gate. We have the humans portal and also the ghost gate. And this happened in the pig, monkey, snake, and tiger. So when the eclipse happens in the pig, it opens up and loosens up tiger, who has a direct pairing with the monkey. Then pig also in a way affect the location of the eclipse is happening opposite it, which is actually at the snake portal. So therefore, this month itself in November, when this particular eclipse happened, right, okay, it jolts awake. It awakens, okay, the 4 portals, okay, of the axis of Earth. And these portals are energy portals, okay. When it comes to astrology itself, okay, that's why the pig is called the Heaven's Gate, okay, Tin Teng, okay. So therefore, when these portals are joke open, this is the best timing because we have to calculate not all eclipses happens like this. So when it happens, this is the best timing for us to actually, in a way, try to accelerate ourselves. Because now, since all these 4 portals has been pushed open, okay, now we can actually work on all the heaven, human, earth, and ghost realm. Okay, and of course, you go deeper into my breakthrough programs and all that. That's where I explain about all this different timing as well. So those of you who are following me to Egypt, now you know why the initial briefing needs to be in November this year, okay? Which is, of course, the eclipse month, and it is tomorrow, 1111, 1111. Now, when it comes to spirituality and astrology, November 11 is not a sales day, okay? I have nothing to sell. Nothing will be on sale. But November 11 is a very special date itself, okay? So this one I will share with you all tomorrow during the briefing, okay? So it get initiated in November, and the trip will be next year, November, okay? All right, and then I promise you 3 breakthrough workshops that will happen in Tiger, Snake, and also Monkey month, which is February, May, and also August. Now, can you see the pattern? Now, if you see this pattern, you see this year, the total solar eclipse takes place in the Pig's month, right? Okay. And next year, there will be no total solar eclipse. There will be partial solar eclipse, but no total solar eclipse for the whole entire 2022. You only have a total lunar eclipse that appears twice. Okay. So if you look back into this chart, in year 2022, right? Okay. The black dot is a lunar eclipse. And next year, you have 2 total lunar eclipse, means full eclipse in totality. And the total lunar eclipse happens where? May, and the other one happens in November. Can you see the pattern? All right. So when, in next year when the total lunar eclipse happens, we will be in Egypt. All right. Can you see the pattern that somehow all these things leads to, again, opening of the portal in May and also in November again. All right, so that's how we see the portal when you want to select certain things, certain dates. Date selection is very much to do not only by the name of the stars that you see in your tongshu or your date selection workbook, because if you just choose merely on the stars, you are not paying attention to what's happening up there, okay? Because what's in the book itself is repetitive. But what's up there, right, okay, it doesn't follow exactly like 1 month. We say 1 month is 30 days, 31 days, right? But to be exact, if you look at what exactly happening up there, it's not. It's like 29 point something days. There are residues to it, okay? And this is what we're going to actually discuss in a deeper breakthrough program. The eclipse, how it affects, how is it in a way relate to the astrological sign? How is it relating? Rise to Thrive next year. How to actually in a way accelerate into this portal. Many of you have signed up for Rise to Thrive. I'm looking forward because by next year in February, okay, another portal opens. That's how we learn how to make use of all these eclipses. All right. So now if you understand, this is how eclipse happen, how it relates to astrology, how we can make use of it to be, understand more into ourselves. And how to understand, it can be different tools. It can be using astrology as one of the tools to look into parts, to look into all these breakthrough programs, to learn more about yourself, or what are the keys in your life itself that you have to pay attention to. It can be through meditation. Right, because some people, they meditate during eclipse itself, because when we meditate, we reflect back into our past, to actually have more awareness, to have more, awareness into our life itself, so we can understand our life patterns without using the tool of astrology. Either way, it works, so astrology have different tools. You can have tarot, you can have parts, you can have many other tools itself. All the tools are equally good into going deep. But the difference now is because of, again, market demand. People use the tools to go wide instead of going deep, Where else if you go deep itself, right, people will always in a way try to, instigate fear. Whenever the best timing for us to go deep, people use fear. Just like it has been used by emperors over thousands of years ago. Right? Stay home. Don't come out. Don't see what the heck we are doing. okay, where the emperors and his own astronomers and his own astrologers are now, okay, using these special dates itself to go deeper into themselves and see how they can actually manipulate the energy to actually be more powerful. All right, and yet civilians, normal people, what we do, we believe what they say, we hide, just like an ostrich. I think this times needs to stop. All right, so when we stop and when we bring more awareness, you know that during the eclipse itself is the best timing for us to look deeper into ourselves. And of course, in order for us to look how deep into ourselves, there are different tools, okay? Many of you have actually, in a way, signed up a lot of our workshops. In fact, we don't have a lot of workshops, okay? But every month you have like a continuous episode of workshop to guide everyone to actually be more empowered, to harness this power back instead of living in fear, okay? And of course, the upcoming workshop that we have, okay, which is happening this weekend, is not by me, but it's actually by my the other half, okay, Kong Yu. He will be coming up with his Own Your Personal Power with Parzi. So those of you, it's a part 2, okay? So, of course, even though you have not attended part 1, you can also come to this particular class, okay? Right, okay, where this class itself is actually using, okay, Parzi to look into yourself. How can you, in a way, own up to yourself? How can you, in a way, retrieve or reclaim your power? Okay, so if you're interested or you feel the call to it, you can scan on this QR code. It is 180 ringgit, happening this Saturday on the 13th of November, 2 to 5:30 p.m. It's via Zoom, all right? So the thing is, okay, you will also get part 1. Because you see, this is part 2, right? After you attended it, part 1 replay will be given to you as well, so that you can actually understand the information in totality. All right. And then again, for those of you, okay, many of you have signed up, okay, for my meditation experiential workshop, okay, that's happening on the lunar eclipse on the 19th of November. Okay, on the lunar eclipse, we have listened to your soul. This is a awareness plus meditation workshop. I call it an experiential workshop, okay? It's happening on the 19th of November, 9 p.m. Also via Zoom. It is 80 ringgit. But if you're interested, you can buy the both package, including the lunar, okay, eclipse, and also the solar eclipse, which is the opening of the Centurion portal, okay? This is happening on December 4th, okay? The opening of the Centurion portal is happening on December 4th. It's a Saturday. Take note, okay? It is happening at 2 p.m. That is the duration, okay? 2 to 4 is the duration where the peak of the solar eclipse is happening, okay? So 2 to 4 via Zoom, okay? If you are interested, you can get both at 120 ringgit, okay? So the link has been shared in the comments below. You can click on it, all right? Or you can also scan the QR code over here. Now, questions, okay? Now, will the eclipse do harm to the person born on the... No, of course it will not do harm, okay? So remember, the eclipse is opening of a portal, okay? Because you see, it's only for that few minutes itself, the moment itself, okay? Where somehow, okay, the things will go into void. It won't do you harm because at that moment itself, our conscious and subconscious in a way link. So a lot of times when eclipse happen, right, okay, we have a lot of realization. So when you go to see the eclipse, or whenever these places, when you will witness and you pay attention, okay, to the eclipse, or you meditate on the eclipse itself, right, it helps you to open up deeper into our subconscious mind. So it won't do you harm, okay? I mean, to be honest, as the moment that I'm talking to you, you know how many people died from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m.? How many people die every second? Can someone please Google for me, just for the sake of search for me, like every minute, how many people die? Or every hour, how many people die in the world? Try to Google this, okay? And let me know the answer. So the thing is, you see, surely during an eclipse that happened, even though for that short, like few hours, okay? Right? You know how many people died during that few hours. So the thing is, when you have the myth, okay, for what? 120 people die in the world per minute. See, 120 people die per minute. So you know how many people have died in this 1 hour that I'm talking to you and you're listening to me? Now imagine, okay, all right, 1 hour, 7,425 people died. 1 hour. Do you know that in the world, 7,425 people have died in the past hour when we're talking about the eclipse? Now imagine, the belief has been set out with fear, that people keep telling that, oh, eclipse is bad, you know, you have catastrophe, you might even have death and all these things, okay? And you have this belief in your mind. And during the eclipse that happened, someone died. Which is not surprising, right? Every hour, 7,000 plus people die. And so happened when the eclipse, someone died. And don't you think that this death now, okay, becomes even more emphasized? These people will be like, oh my God, yes, when this whatever dragon or dog is eating the sun, that person died. Okay? So therefore, like when this exaggerated, people will even put in more, okay, fear into this news. So that it keep exaggerating, and over time, imagine it has been exaggerated for thousands of years. How much fear is it there? So therefore, if you say that, okay, could it be like, in a way, could it be like any babies who are born like defect, or babies who are born in a way who cannot survive birth during the eclipse? Of course it's possible. You know how many babies born with defect every few hours? All right, can you imagine how many babies that were born stillbirth or died during birth itself? It is common, it happens every time. It's just that so happened during the eclipse, people pay more attention. So I really urge, if you really want to go deep into understanding astrology, understanding all this astronomy and how it works, right? Okay, the first thing we need to extradite out from us is fear, right? And it's good questions that you all ask all this, okay? Because I really love questions like this, because we all learn together. When you ask me the questions and I'll try to answer, I might not have all the answers all the time, okay? But I love questions like this because we all can learn together, all right? So remember, eclipse happens, of course, every time when all these things happens, there are good things and bad things happening at the same time. But just because of the belief of eclipse has been shared over thousands of years, the fear has been built in our DNA, okay? So whenever eclipse happens, we focus on the bad rather than the good. I'm sure when eclipse happens, there are people in the world somehow receive good news. I'm sure they are, right? But people don't focus on that, because it has never been in the sharings of belief of eclipse throughout all the thousands of years that good news should happen. So we prime our mind to focus on the bad news. Okay, so please, from now onwards, stop doing that. And from now onwards, I was just telling my team today, we have to start chasing the shadows, because these shadows is going to help us to look deeper into ourselves, to find more meaning in life, to find more breakthroughs, okay, to accelerate all this growth and ascensions of our spiritual beings, okay? Especially those of you, if you are open, okay, or in a way called to the idea to, in a way, walk your spiritual journey, these are the informations that will be helpful for you, okay? I hope. All right, so it's definitely people with the growth star in Bazi might have higher connection to the portals. It might, okay? In fact, not only growth star, okay? Normally people with death and emptiness will have higher connection, or full yin in the chart, we have higher connection with the eclipse, all right? Because full yin itself is an eclipse that's happening. Or you have a death and emptiness, okay, which is a void portal, means that the chances of you being able to connect with it is also higher. And then another possibilities will be the 10 spirited days, all right? Because the 10 spirited days, in a way, okay, are the 10 pillars of energy. So these are the people, of course, will have higher affinity with the eclipse itself, all right? As always, you share valuable info. Thank you so much, okay? El Delgado, thank you so much, all right? Thank you so much for being with me here, because as I mentioned, every Wednesday night, because of you, the Wednesday night Facebook Live can go on, because there's no point for me to keep sharing and yet no one tune in. So I really appreciate all your support. Any more questions? No more. I have to let you go. Thank you so much. It's already 10. All right. If you have any more questions, again, the same thing. If you can help me to share this session out so that it can actually reach out to more people, so that people can understand more about the eclipse and astrology and how it merged and how we can actually make use of it and be the best of ourselves, please do help me to share that out. At least that's something that you can do for me. All right. So thank you so much, all of you. And yeah, for those of you who are going to Egypt, I'll see you tomorrow at 9. Thank you so much. Good night. Stay safe.